So today we are going to discuss the topic of the OOPS concept. What are the basic concepts of it? So firstly, we can see that the first concept which is written over here is object. So what an object is? Object क्या होता है? Object are the basic runtime entities in an object-oriented system. Or we can say that an object is a real or abstract item which contains information, and the information are basically the attribute that is going to describe it, and methods that allow it to be manipulated. So we can say that an entity that has a state and behavior is known as an object. They may represent a place, a person, a bank account, a table of data, or any item that the program may handle. So for example, if you're writing here that if fruit has been designed or has been defined as a class, अगर fruit को हम लोग बोले कि वो class है, तो ये जो statement यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, the statement which is written here that fruit space and mango, it will create an object. ये क्या करेगा कि एक object को create करेगा जो कि होगा mango, जो कि इस class को belong करेगा. किस class को belong करेगा? ये fruit class को belong करेगा. So basically हम लोग ये बोल सकते हैं कि जो आपका ऑब्जेक्ट होता है, ऑब्जेक्ट जो है वो क्या है, आपका है कोई भी रियल वर्ल्ड एंटिटी हो सकता है, ठीक है. और हर एक जो ऑब्जेक्ट होता है इसका अपना कुछ इनहेरेंट आइडेंटिटी होता है. यानी कि हम लोग ये बोल सकते हैं कि दो ऑब्जेक्ट, ठीक है, डिस्टिंक्ट होता है इवन इफ दे आर हैविंग एट्रीब्यूट वैल्यूज व्हिच आर आइडेंटिकल. ओके, सो बेसिकली these are what are the basic runtime entities in an object oriented system. Now the next concept is a class. What is a class? So as we have mentioned in the above example of object that we have written something fruit as a class. So we can say that a class is basically collection of objects, or we can say that class is collection of objects of similar types. It means that when we are having similar type of objects gathered together, then it is going to constitute a class. So the class is what is a group of objects with the same attribute and functions. Okay, for example, we have written fruit as a class. So and we can create a number of objects of this fruit class also. For example, if we have written only mango here, so apple can also be a object of this fruit class, or it can also be an object of this fruit class. For example, we can say as a class the person can be also a class, a company can also be a class. This can be given as the objects or we can create objects of these classes. Okay, so next concept is abstraction. What is this abstraction? Abstraction क्या होता है? So abstraction means when we are going to hide the internal details and showing the functionality. When we are having something and we are not about to show all the internal details of details, and we are going to show only what is in use, the functionality. जितना हमें यूज उतना ही जब हमें दिखता है तो उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्शन बोलते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हम सभी लोग फोन को यूज करते हैं. सो वी आर गोइंग टू मेक फोन कॉल, तो हम लोग फोन कॉल तो करते हैं, वी आर एबल टू टॉक टू अ पर्सन whom we are making the call, but we don't know how the internal processing is being done, कैसे इंटरनल प्रोसेसिंग हो रहा है. तो जब जावा हम लोग पढ़ेंगे, इन केस ऑफ जावा हम लोग दो चीजों को यूज करते हैं. वी आर हैविंग टू कंसेप्ट्स, वन इज ऑफ एब्स्ट्रैक्ट क्लास एंड अनदर वन इज ऑफ इंटरफेस. एंड यूजिंग द कंसेप्ट of this abstract classes interface, we can achieve the abstraction. Okay, the next concept is encapsulation. अब encapsulation क्या होता है? बेसिकली जब हम लोग बाइंड या फिर हम लोग रैप करते हैं डेटा को और मेथड को एक सिंगल यूनिट में, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, आपका encapsulation बोलते हैं. अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू रैप डेटा and methods into a single unit, it is known as your encapsulation. For example, something is written here as a capsule. So capsule is what it is wrapped with different medicines. So we can say that encapsulation is being done there. And in Java, the class is an example of this encapsulation. Next comes a topic of inheritance. Next concept which we are going to discuss is inheritance. So inheritance क्या होता है? Basically inheritance एक ऐसा process है जहाँ पे एक क्लास के ऑब्जेक्ट क्या कर सकते हैं, दूसरे क्लास के ऑब्जेक्ट के प्रॉपर्टीज को एक्वायर कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, जब किसी भी क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट दूसरे क्लास के ऑब्जेक्ट के प्रॉपर्टीज को एक्वायर करता है, उसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, इनहेरिटेंस बोलते हैं. तो बेसिकली इस केस में जब हम लोग इनहेरिटेंस को देखते हैं तो ऊप में क्या होता है, ये जो कंसेप्ट है इनहेरिटेंस का, ये हमको रीयूजेबिलिटी का आइडिया को प्रोवाइड करता है. And when we are dealing with inheritance, we are going to deal with the concept of the superclass and the subclass, or we can say that we are going to deal with the concept of this base class and derived class, or the parent class and the child class. The class from which we are going to derive, जिससे हम लोग कुछ ले रहे हैं, from which we are going to acquire the properties, that class will always be your base class, and the class which is going to use its property is the derived class. Okay, this means that we can add any additional feature to an existing class. हम लोग किसी भी existing class में क्या कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी additional features को add कर सकते हैं बिना उसको modify किए. Why? Because we are going to reuse it. Whatever is written in the base class, we can use it directly in the derived class. For example, we can see here that we are having a diagram in which we are having a class which is person. Okay, and we can say that it is having two branches. One is of employee and another one is a student. So we can say that employee and student, these both can derive, or these both can acquire the properties of the class in person. Nextly, we can see that we can also further divide an employee as a manager, secretary. You can divide. आपको जैसा लग रहा है आप उसके साथ divide कर सकते हैं. I have divided it into two categories as manager and secretary. So a manager is also having the properties of an employee, and it is also going to have the properties of that person. And in case of this student, we have further divided into art student and science student, and these two art and science students are also having the properties, or they can have the properties of the student class and the person class. So what is that whenever we are going to define a derived class, it is having its own properties also, plus it can have the additional properties of the base class also. For example, some of the attributes I mentioned here, you can see, I'm marking it. Yeah, you can see over here that some attributes are written. ये क्या है, ये आपका attribute लिखा हुआ है, जैसे name लिखा हुआ है, address लिखा हुआ है, age लिखा हुआ है. This is what is an attribute. So जो attribute है, ये जो है, ये मान लो अगर इस person का ये attribute है, तो यही attribute student का भी हो सकता है, ये attribute again इस art student का भी हो सकता है. ठीक है, यही attribute इस employee का भी हो सकता है, ये attribute इस manager का भी हो सकता है. So again, we are not going to write the code. If we are written it already in this person class, we can directly use it. Additionally, we are having some methods written over here. Over here, you can see that get name and put name. After that, get age and put age. These are also some of the methods. And basically, when we are going to have a class is having this two sections. Basically, this data member section and the member function section. Okay, so member function can also be what we can say that these properties can be acquired, or these properties can be shared by the derived classes. Okay, so next we are coming to the next concept, that is of polymorphism. Basically, polymorphism means that the ability to take more than one form. जब भी कोई भी ऑपरेशन एक से ज्यादा जगहों पे अलग अलग तरीके से वर्क करता है, उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, polymorphism. Polymorphism means to make, or we can say that many forms. Okay, so यहाँ पे जैसे कि example आप देख सकते हैं polymorphism का. For example, we are having a class shape and it is having a method as draw. Now we are having different instances of this class. We can say that we are having different object of this shape class as class object, as circle object, then the box object and the triangle object. So whenever we are going to call this draw method for these objects, namely the circle object, box object and triangle object, these will create a circle, a box and a triangle. So we can see in this example that this operation or this method, the draw, is exhibiting differently for the different, or is behaving differently for the different objects. So we can say that polymorphism basically what, that whenever when operation may exhibit or may take different behavior in different instances, we are going to achieve this concept, or we are going to visualize this concept of polymorphism. So in Java, we are going to use two methods. We are going to use method overloading and method overriding to achieve this polymorphism. Okay, जावा में हम लोग दो कंसेप्ट देखते हैं अलग अलग, दो चीजें देखते हैं अलग अलग, जैसे मेथड ओवरलोडिंग देखते हैं, मेथड ओवरराइडिंग देखते हैं. इस मेथड ओवरराइडिंग और ओवरलोडिंग के हेल्प से हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म को अचीव कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट कंसेप्ट इज डायनेमिक बाइंडिंग. सो व्हाट इज डायनेमिक बाइंडिंग? डायनेमिक बाइंडिंग क्या होता है? इन केस ऑफ दिस डायनेमिक बाइंडिंग, बेसिकली जो भी कोड आपका किसी भी प्रोसीजर कॉल के साथ एसोसिएटेड होता है, ये तब तक पता नहीं चलता है जब ताकि हम उसको कॉल नहीं करते हैं. You can see here it is written that dynamic binding means that the code associated with a given procedure call is not known until the time of the call at runtime. यानी कि जब उसको हम execute करते हैं, at that time we are going to know that which code is going to be executed. And basically ये जो dynamic binding होता है ना, ये आपका inheritance and polymorphism के साथ associated होता है, ठीक है. So whenever we will see the concept of this, or we are going to realize a concept is dynamic binding, we are going to see this polymorphism and inheritance. It is associated with both of these. Next concept which we can say is your message communication. So what is a message communication? We have learned earlier also that objects can communicate using information or using some messages. So in this object oriented program, it is going to consist a set of object. इसमें क्या होता है, set of object हो सकता है and वो क्या कर सकते हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ communicate कर सकते हैं. तो basically ये जो objects है ये communicate कैसे करेंगे, ये communicate करेंगे by sending and receiving information, ठीक है. एक क्या करेंगे कि एक सेंड करेगा इंफॉर्मेशन तो दूसरा ऑब्जेक्ट क्या करेगा, रिसीव करेगा. जस्ट लाइक व्हाट अ पीपल इज, और जस्ट एज इन द सेम मैनर एज people pass messages to one another. So basically this message passing is going to involve specifying the name of the object. We have to specify the name of the object. After that the name of the method, ठीक है, क्या method हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, आपका कौन सा मेथड को यूज कर रहे हैं, एंड आफ्टर दैट द मैसेज, ठीक है, एंड द मैसेज which we are going to send, what we can say that information जो हम लोग को भेजना है वो भी यहाँ पे क्या होता है, आपका एसोसिएटेड होता है. जैसे एग्जांपल में आप लोग देख सकते हैं, हम लोगों ने क्या लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे, employee.salary, and after that in the parameter we have passed something as name. So this employee here is like an object, is an object, and the salary is what is the message. जो मेथड है वो मैसेज यहाँ पे भी आप देख सकते हो. एंड आफ्टर दैट ये नेम क्या इंफॉर्मेशन है जिसको कि हम लोग क्या करें, पास करें बिटवीन दिस टू ऑब्जेक्ट्स. सो बेसिकली वी आर having this basic concepts in Java, and these are the basic concepts of OOPS also. So we have to go through all these topics. हम लोग इन सब चीजों को फिर से एक बार भी अच्छे से हम लोग इसको देखेंगे, and we are going to discuss all those things. Okay, thank you.